That's fine. I think he has a very low ceiling. I think he does things they'll like. He's efficient. He's detailed. He's an anticipatory thrower, low ceiling. But when he was rumored to be number 3, I'm like, I'm not giving up first-round picks for Mac Jones. You got to be out of your gourd. So here's the thing about the NFL right now. If you look at the teams that we all put in the Super Bowl bubble, they all have something in common. Kansas City, Baltimore, Seattle, Green Bay, Buffalo, Tampa Bay. They all have one thing in common. It's not their defense. It's not their coach. You know what they can do? In 2021 NFL football, they can give you cheap points, 2-play drives, throw it over the top. During the Belichick era, which about 3/4 of it, we were a running and a defensive league. That's great. You can win 10 games that way. But Miami and New England were like, the ceiling's lower, right? You got to do the Kansas City, Buffalo, Aaron Rodgers, Russell. You get cheap points. Brady, over the top, Mike Evans. The Rams, by the way, had the number 1 defense in the NFL. They got rid of their quarterback. Why? And they went and drafted speed receivers. Why? What do the Rams do? They're like, we're not good enough at quarterback, and we're not fast enough at wide receiver. Their defense was number 1. Out in the playoffs real quick. Steelers. Their defense was number 3. Baltimore. Can't just do it on defense. So when I watched Mac Jones last night, here's the dilemma of replacing Tom Brady. Mac Jones is exactly what I thought he would be. He's got good feet. He's an anticipatory thrower more than Cam. He'll make adjustments at the line. He's accurate. He's calm. His prep is fantastic. Like, this kid lives in a playbook. But you're not making any plays. You're not extending any plays. I mean, Brady was drafted by a Major League Baseball team. Brady was bigger, and he was stronger. Brady always had a plus arm. He doesn't have a plus arm as much anymore. Brady always had a great arm. He's the best cold weather thrower I've ever seen in my life, including Marino, including Elway. Brady threw an incredible ball in cold weather, and Foxborough has it. And then now what New England has, watching last night, they got a little bit of two things. You got Cam, who actually has some playmaking, but he's not as accurate. He's not an anticipatory thrower. The guy's got to be open, and there's limitations on Cam's efficiency. Like, that's not what he's for. But boy, in the red zone, Cam tucked that ball in. Like, they don't have many playmakers. Or you can go to Mac Jones, who will be better in the efficiency and the accuracy stuff, and the coaches will love that because this is like the most detailed, most, like pocket protector coaching staff of all time, right? They do all the details. Great. The screen passes are like the best in the league. Their traps, their special teams, their defensive coverage. They never give you cheap touchdowns. So this is the problem with replacing Brady. Like, Brady could give you both. Brady gave you super efficiency, super details, but he was 6'5" with a great arm, often in lousy Foxborough weather, and he could throw it over the top, and you got everything. Well, he's not a super athlete. He was Brady moves in the pocket as well as anybody I've ever seen. So he was always sneaky athletic. So I just watched him like, Mac Jones is what I thought Mac Jones would be. He is what I thought he would be. But that's why the Rams went and got Stafford. And in the draft, we made fun of him in the draft, right? All that, because he gets another fast receiver. You just can't win with defense. The Rams have a brilliant head coach, the best defense in the league, the best defensive lineman in the league. They don't commit a lot of turnovers. They have an incredible culture. And they were 1 and done in the playoffs. Because Jared Goff can't extend a play, and because they don't have an over-the-top receiver, Kansas City does, and Buffalo does, and Tampa Bay does, and Seattle does, and Green Bay does, and Baltimore, what did they do this offseason? Well, they got big play wide receivers potentially. So, I watched New England, and I thought to myself, you can make an argument this morning that Mac Jones is a better fit for them. You can make that argument, and he's obviously the future. You can make that argument. But, boy, the ceiling feels really low. It feels really low. And I think they go win 10 games. But I look at New England, and I think this is the dilemma replacing Brady. Do you want the playmaker or the efficient guy? Can't do two. It's not the way the NFL works. Not college. It's not the Mountain West Conference. It's not the way it works. So it's not a negative feeling. This is what I've said about Tua. Now, Miami went and got receivers. They got Will Fuller. They got Jaden Wall. When I watched New England last night, I felt like I'm watching the Miami Dolphins without all the speed and playmaking at wide receiver. And New England showed no ability to draft that position. So I think Mac Jones is somebody the coaches could easily talk themselves into this morning and say, well, he's just going to be, accurate. And by the way, if it was just about great coaching, smart quarterback play, pre-snap adjustments, and efficiency, Drew Brees would have 6 rings. But Drew couldn't throw it over the top at the end. And that's what I saw last night. The dilemma of post-Brady. The dilemma is hard. Maybe the message last night is, boy, put your arms around life when it's good. Because if good walks out the door, it is really hard to replace. 10-11 wins, no Super Bowl. By the way, here's Cam Newton talking about it last night about Mac Jones.
He came to me and talked to me, and we talked it out about, just his expectation, and every young quarterback goes through it. The excitement, the anticipation, he wants to be so perfect, and I see his preparation is always, pristine, and, that's what I admire about him.
The dilemma. That's not bad. I think you did find your future quarterback. Just know the ceiling's going to be low. Going to have to be a perfect football team, which mostly the Saints have been the last 5 years with Brees, and you kept thinking they were smarter and better coached and more detailed, and they didn't. Got to have 2-play drives. That's what the Chiefs got. Got to have 3-play drives. That's what Seattle, Green Bay have. All right, let me shift to this. So the Bears and the Dolphins, and this is something I wish the NFL did more of. In fact, I've said this for years. I do not understand television executives in America. Why do you not put NFL scrimmages on TV as games? They would get a million followers. If the Justin Fields of the Bears and Tua of the Dolphins was a 2-hour television show last night, it would have beaten everything on television in America last night, except maybe the baseball game, and I don't know how many viewers they had. So they have these scrimmages, right? And over the course of the next 10 years, you're going to see more of these scrimmages and fewer preseason games. I'm here for it. I think it's undervalued. Like the summer league for 20 years, nobody took care of the summer league. Nobody paid attention to it. Now they put it on and it gets real ratings, right? Like start putting these scrimmages on to a Justin Fields. So here's the story out of the scrimmage yesterday. 4 quarterbacks took snaps in the Bears-Miami Dolphins game. 1 got oohs and ahs according to the report. Oohs and ahs from the fans. Like, ooh, 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 ooh. Justin Fields. That was the guy. And this is where the Niners are and where the Bears are. Garoppolo and Dalton, you got all these snaps and experience. They ain't oohs and ahs guys. And players are fans too. And coaches love when players, they drop a play and the player runs it all the way to the end. And Trey Lance and Justin Fields are not going to do that. Sometimes they're just going to wiggle around and make a play. And the fans are going to go, ooh. And the players are going to go, oh. And that's why Justin Fields is so exciting. You got to have buy-in from players. This is what I said about Mac Jones. You can be smart and efficient and accurate, not getting a lot of oohs and ahs.